I live inside my own world of make-believe.
Welcome, fellow Fusioners. Carrot King here, and today we are continuing with the new box. We are doing part 2. I think part 2 will be the last one. So basically what we have left is Battlewasp, High Speedroid, Altergeist, Spellbooks, and some other cards. So Battlewasp are an interesting deck because they are our first insect synchro deck. So basically, unfortunately we didn't get the Battlewasp tuner, but the deck still has some strengths around it. So I designed the deck around what we have. So we have Battlewasp, our Blastist, the Rapid Fire. When this card is normal summon, you can target one level 3 or lower insect monster in your graveyard. Special summon that monster in defense position. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one Battlewasp monster from your hand or deck. You can only use the effect of Battlewasp or Blastist, the Rapid Fire, once per turn. So basically, if it's destroyed, you can summon something out. Has pretty good stats overall, and you can special summon back a level 3 or lower, so you can summon back your other Battlewasp or your Infernity Beetle. So the cool thing about this deck is we are running, if we run this, we'd be running level augmentation. And the reason being is we want to be able to summon a level 8 in one turn using our level 3. So basically, besides that, I'm going to go over the levels and the tuners a bit. So we have the other one, Battlewasp Twin Bow, the Attacker. During your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. Very good. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except insect monsters. That locks you into insect synchros, or fusions, I guess, but synchros in this case. For this turn, except insect monsters. Yep, you can only use the effective Battlewasp Twinbow once per turn. This card can make a second attack during its battle phase. That's not as relevant, but more summoning to the field very easily. So the main tuner we're running is Infernity Beetle. The reason why we're running Infernity Beetle, there's other insects in the new box. There's a lot of other tuners you can do. It's a weird strategies. We're running this because we're running an insect tuner deck, and there's one overpowered insect tuner or synchro we've had in the past. I'm going to go over that in a minute. So basically we have level 2 that can, if you have no cards in hand, tribute itself to summon 2 more Infernity Beetles from your deck. So you can summon up to 2 and do a level 6 into a level 8 right away. So it has multiple reasons you can do that. And so basically, we can do level 4, and a level. If we summon level 4, we'll summon level 2 from the grave. And we either tribute it to get 2 more, or we can just use it as is. So he's more of a follow-up for that one. But basically, you can go into level 6, which is mainly your Battlewasp. However, the charge requires 1 insect tuner and 1 non-tuner monster, or 1 or more. Once per battle, during the damage calculation, if this card attacks an opponent's monster with equal or higher attack, quick effect, you can half that opponent's monster attack. The attack of the opponent's monster. And then during that damage calculation only, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Battlewasp monster you control. So you can poke for a little bit of damage. It's less important, except for the quick effect half their attack if they have equal or higher attacks. So that's actually really, really good ways to get over guys if you need that ability. So it's pretty good. And then you can so he's level 6. You'll be going to him with 4 and 2 is your main way to summon that one. And besides that, we are running the Battlewasp Hama, the Conquering Bow. Requires 1 tuner, 1 or more non-tuner monsters. If this card was synchro summoned using a synchro monster's material, so you can use your level 6 and level 2 if you want to do it that way, it can attack a second time during each battle phase. You can only use each of the following effects of Battlewasp Hama, the Conquering Bow once per turn. Reminds me of Blackwings on the naming. Let's see. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can make all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1,000 attack and defense. And if you attack again a second time because of the first ability for summoning with a synchro, you can then attack over the lower attacked monsters. Then at the end of the battle phase, your opponent, if your opponent has not taken any battle damage this phase, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Battlewasp monster in your graveyard. So that means, would that count as end of battle phase? Yeah. So if you haven't battled, so say you turn 1 summon this, which happens quite a bit, your opponent will take 300 points of damage if you have at least one of these in your graveyard. Besides that, we have the amazing, fantastic old synchro that we've had Underground Arachnid. So basically, it requires one Dark-type tuner, so which is Infinity Beetle, and one non-tuner Insect-type monster. So very specific requirements that this deck fulfills. We have Insects and Dark Tuners, which is also an insect. So basically, if this card attacks, your opponent can activate spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. So they can't activate like into your Golem and worth of effects, except for not piercing. And then once per turn, you can select one face-up monster your opponent controls and equip it to this card. If this card will be destroyed by battle, you can destroy the monster equipped to this card by this card's effect. Instead, you can only equip one monster at a time to this card. So basically, you can remove your opponent's monsters and make them not be able to use back row response. And he's slightly bigger than Armades, which is pretty good. So we can get over bigger things by equipping them and then just attack. So that's actually a really, really good card we haven't been able to use before, that we can use a little better because of how these decks synergize with Synchros. Then besides that, we're running just other things that fill space for the most part. We're running a Trap Hole Trap Tricks engine, so we're running Trap Tricks Attracts. It's a insect, so we're running it. And this card is unaffected by the effects of Hole, Normal, Traps. They have Floodgate, does not work. You can activate Hole, Normal, Trap cards from your hand. The activation and effects of normal trap cards activated on your side of the field cannot be negated. So that basically you can keep your traps in your hand and be able to use them, or you can set them like normal and have it the same way. 1800 is pretty good attack. And then you're running 3 Floodgate, 3 Void Trap Hole for bigger things, and 2 Treacherous because it's a trap hole, and it's really good. So that's your limit 2 card we're running. Besides that, I'm not really gonna. No, I can remember the play. Oh, the other synchro we can do is we're running level augmentation. I forgot about this one. Is we will summon out Infinity Beetle, activate level augmentation to increase it by 3 using our Twin Bow. So it becomes level 5. Then we special summon Twin Bow, and we have a level 8 synchro between those two, and it's pretty good overall. All right, that's the deck. Now the gameplay. Alrighty, here we go. So we have Infinity Beetle. Not the best looking hand, but we can still do some plays. So we can normal summon this, and we'll set a bluff or 2. I'll set 1, then we just pass turn. He goes, summons a monster. Cosmic Cyclone, so we don't really care. And we're able to use traps from our hands. So say he summons 2 monsters. We would be able to activate Treacherous from our hand. Pop 2 cards, then he passes turn, we draw. At this point we can set 2, because we want to go into synchro plays. And then we can normal summon Infinity Beetle. Activate Infinity Beetle's effect. We have no cards in hand, so we can send this to the graveyard. And then from our deck, we will special summon 2 Infinity Beetles. It's a little bit of a slower play for this one, but you still have like some faster plays outside of this combo specifically. And then we'll be able to synchro summon 4 and 2. To summon, we can do either one. We're going to do 6 because we're going to synchro climb. And then we can, because we basically no monsters if we Treacherous Trap Hole already, so we send these 2. We've used the synchro, so when we summon out our Battlewasp Hama the Conquering Bow, it has 2800 and can attack twice. We have really good protection with all of our traps, so we're in a pretty good position past this point. Alrighty, next deck. Okay, here we go. So next we have Speedroids. Speedroids are interesting. They have some pretty interesting effects. So basically, we are running only 1 synchro because we have a pretty good synchro engine, because nothing restricts in the cards we're running what you can summon. Some other Speedroid cards will restrict the typing, like for example Kendama. You can only, let me see if this one, let's see, to do once per turn. No, it doesn't have the restriction. Okay, no, it's just the normal summon restriction. Okay, so basically we are able to summon out this one and then other synchros pretty easily. So basically we have Speedroid Red Eye Dice, not a Red Eyes, a Red Eyed. When this card is no more special summoned, you can target 1 Speedroid monster you control, except for Speedroid Red Eyed Dice, and declare a level from 1 to 6. It becomes that level until the end of this turn. So basically with that effect, he's a level 1 tuner. If you have another monster that's a Speedroid, you would be able to special summon or to change the level of them between anything from 1 to 6. So you can summon a synchro that's 2 to 7. So anything 7 or below, you're able to summon with the Red Eye Dice and another Speedroid. So basically, Speedroid Double Yo-Yo has to work when this card is normal summoned. You can target one level 3 or lower Speedroid monster in your graveyard. Special summon it, so that's what you're going to use to get back your Speedroid dice. We're running things like Raigeki Break and Ballista Squad to affect our opponent and get things in the graveyard like Red-Eye Died if we open these two cards together. Besides that, we are running Speedroid Horse Stilts. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Speedroid monster from your hand. During the main phase, if this turn was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, send one wind monster from your deck to your graveyard. Yeah, so you can use this later to send another Red-Eye Dice if you want. So basically, this will be your main way to summon this special Speedroid Red-Eye Dice from hand, which can be pretty good. Besides that, we are running, our other tuner we're running is Jet Synchron because we are able to discard it with Ballista Squad or with Raigeki Break, get to the graveyard, and then we can discard our Red-Eye Dice to be able to make use of it, or discard things that we need in the graveyard, like another Jet Synchron. So we're able to synchro with Jet Synchron into a level 5. So we're running a one high speed Roid Haigoita, because it only requires one tuner, one more non-tuner, and we're running one Jet Warrior. So basically, I'm going to go over these other ones a few more. So this one, discard. Yeah, discard destroy card, tribute monster, destroy card, Sphere Kribo, switch defense. So you can change level, summon from grave a Speedroid, and summon from hand a Speedroid. All these work with Speedroid dice, and then this will work with your other back row to work with the other monsters forcefully. So basically, besides running Brionic, Black Rose, Samurai Destroyer, just normal standard good synchros there, running Jet Warrior, which basically requires Jet Synchron, one or more non-tuners, so you just use level 4, either one of these, and a Jet Synchron. Basically, if this card is Synchro Summon, you can target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you contribute one level 2 or lower monster. Special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effective Jet Warrior once per turn. So that is really good, because Synchro Summon you can target, so you can bounce something very easily. Let's close that too. So basically, besides that, we have our high speed droid, Haigoita. Basically, this effect is during either player's turn. Let me see this one. During either player's turn, you contribute this card, increase the levels of all monsters currently in the field by 1 until the end of this turn. If this card is in your graveyard and you control a Speedroid tuner monster, you can special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except for wind monsters. It's kind of has some restrictions. I'm running it because it's a Speedroid. But you don't have to run this one specifically, but you can summon it out pretty easy for that. Plus, it has a way to get itself back into the field, which is what seems to be the Speedroid formula in this occasion. So you can, if he's level 5, you can summon him if you have a Red-Eye Dice on the field, summon and be able to synchro out Kendama right after, if that's your way to get him out. So Kendama is the last one we're going over. High Speedroid Kendama. Basically, this card, if it attacks the defense position monster, it just needs one tuner, one or more non-tuners, it will inflict piercing damage to your opponent. And you can only use the following effects of High Speedroid Kendama once per turn. You can banish one machine-type monster from your graveyard to inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent, so a little bit of burn. Then if this card is in your graveyard and you control no cards, so no spells or traps and no monsters, you can special summon this card, but you cannot normal or set the turn you activate this effect. So it has a restriction for there, but you can get back a 20-20 monster that does a little bit of burn. And with cards like Ballista Squad, it can come in handy once in a while. So it's a pretty good card overall. But this deck may have more workarounds, but right now I don't enjoy this one too much. But let's check out the gameplay. Alrighty, here we go. So we got Red-Eye Dice and Yo-Yo summons from grave. So we'll set dice, set 2 back row. We pass turn, he summons something we don't want, so we will activate Ballista Squad to send us to the grave. So you go to the graveyard, and then we are able to pass his turn, so we draw. We have a Karibos. Now we can normal summon our Yo-Yo. To special summon our Red-Eye Dice. And the Red-Eye Dice, because he special summoned, can change the level of Yo-Yo to between 1 and 6. So we're able to summon any of these cards. You can summon probably Samurai Destroyer will be better, or any of these other ones. But for this video, we're going to summon out the Kendama. So we're making it level 5. So Synchro of level 5 and level 1. To summon out High Speedroid Kendama. Then we will banish our Yo-Yo to deal 500 points of damage. And then we will declare attack. So battle phase, attack directly. There we go. And that's basically like the whole strategy of the deck. Is you synchro summon a lot. You just have interesting level control. Not too much besides that. Alrighty, next deck. Okay, here we go. So this one's pretty interesting. I'm not going to show gameplay for this one because this is not. We wouldn't get a lot of support for Altergeist. But we have Altergeist in the game, and they have one interesting lock, which I just kind of built a negation burn kind of stopping strategy. Because the whole lock about it is you basically get out Marionetta, get out Finalag, and then you activate Camouflage onto your Finalag. So basically, Marionetta, when it is normal summoned, you can set one Altergeist trap directly from your deck, which our options currently will be this continuous one, and then the Camouflage. Okay, so basically, Marionetta also has the effect where you can target one Altergeist card you control, and one Altergeist monster in your graveyard, send that card on the field into the graveyard, and if you do, let me see this, and if you do special summon the other monster from your graveyard, you can lose the effect once per turn. That's not as relevant because the other one, we don't have a tuner. Oh, this is a tuner actually. Yes, I can go into that one. Okay, cool. My bad, I forgot to see that actually earlier. So basically, this one has the effect where monsters your opponent controls cannot target Altergeist monsters you control for attacks, except for this one. Also, your opponent cannot target Altergeist monsters you control with card effects, except for this one as well. So that works really well with the set from your deck Camouflage, because you can target one Altergeist monster you control, equip this card to it. Your opponent cannot target it for attacks, but it does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. So basically, you make it where if you have both of these, you equip with this, they can attack you directly, but they can't attack. They have to attack your Altergeist, but they can't attack it because they have to attack this. So basically, it locks your opponent from attacking you at all. And this one has it where does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. Negate an opponent's monster effect that activates by targeting the equipped monster. If an Altergeist card you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. So basically, it gives you really good protection and really good like overall synergy with the strategy. And besides that, running Altergeist Imolith Tifel, where you can special summon this card as an effect monster. This card is also still treated as a trap if it's special summoned this way. While in the monster zone, other Altergeist traps you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, neither player can target them with card effects. So that helps you do a little more disruption where they can't target certain things. So that one comes up pretty good overall. It's a one-of because you can search it. And it's another target. So if you have Camouflage, you can search the other trap and have some things you can do with that. Then we have the Synchro because it's a level 6, so you have 4 and 2. We have Altergeist Dragverion. Basically, when the opponent special summons a monster declared an attack, you can return one Altergeist monster you control to the hand, negate the attack. If this card is attributed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card. Sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card. That's not as relevant. We're running more for the lock, but you can summon this, and it does have that other effect. But generally, we're going to go for the Marionetta and Fifalag, and then equip it with the use the Camouflage to give it a lot of protection. Besides that, we can give it a lava golem to do some burn, and then we just try to negate effects we don't want going through. We have Rebirth the Parshaft, so we can summon out a Avenging Knight Parshaft. And it's just, I didn't look at this deck too closely, I just kind of built the stall strategy around how the combo works. I would want to look more into the Camouflage now that I read a little more, but Altergeist, we only got mainly like 5 cards from it, so we'll see how they would do overall. Let's skip the gameplay for this one, so next deck. Okay, here we go. So, Spellbooks. Spellbooks are very interesting because we have a few one-of cards in the normal deck, and we got some pretty interesting cards. I took out Silent Magician because I think this deck wants to be a little more aggressive with the new cards, and you have a lot of more strengths you can do. Now, you can build the deck a little differently. You can add like more back row protection. I'm building more pure spellbooks because of how restrictive the actual summoning conditions for High Priestess is. So basically, the new card, High Priestess of Prophecy, says if you can reveal 3 spellbook spells in your hand, special summon this card from your hand once per turn. You can banish 1 spellbook spell from your hand or graveyard, then target 1 field on 1 card on the field, destroy that target. Now the cool thing is, if you summon out your Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, you draw another spellbook, and if you summon out your Priestess, that's 25, 500, boost it with power, and you have exact 4,000 points of damage, which is really good overall. So High Priestess of Prophecy basically has the effect on the field where you can banish 1 spellbook spell from your hand or graveyard, then target 1 card in the field, destroy that target. So you can use the ones in your hands. It's not a quick spell speed 2, but it's still pretty good destruction overall. That's why we're running 2 Eternity, because you want to be able to get some back after banishing with this effect. We're running 1 because we only have 1 of these, as far as I'm aware. Temperance of Prophecy. Basically, during your main phase, if you have activate a spellbook spell previously this turn, you can tribute this card, special summon 1 level 5 or higher light or dark spellcaster monster from your deck. You cannot special summon another level 5 or higher monster during the turn you activate this effect. So basically, you can normal summon him, activate your secrets if you have that, and then summon out your Priestess from your deck, as long as you don't have all 3 drawn. It's a pretty good one-up, which works a lot better now that we have this card in the deck, and this card is very easy to summon, given that you play basically all spellbooks. But it has to be spells, so you can't use the Blue Boy for this one to summon out in the field. Blue Boy, if this card is normal summoned or flip summoned, add 1 spellbook spell directly from your deck to your hand. Really good. You can activate secrets, search it, summon it, search master. Master can use copy secrets, search a 3rd one. And then if you have another one, you can use fate for 3 effects. So basically, besides that, I'm going to go with, so secrets can search any spellbook cards. That includes Blue Boy, Magician of Prophecy. Master, if you control a spellcaster, you can reveal 1 other spellbook card in your hand, so you have to have another one in your hand. Spellbook card, so it can be Blue Boy. Then you can target 1 spellbook normal spell card in your graveyard, except for Spellbook of Master, so anything except for your quick play spells, your Wisdom, or your Fate. And then you are able to make its effect become that one's effect. You can only use each spellbook once per turn, but this one will bypass that effect for the 1 it copies. So you're able to use Power twice, Eternity twice, Secrets twice. I think that's all the ones we have that we can currently use. Besides that, we're running Spellbook of Power. Target 1 spellcaster monster you control. This turn it gains 1,000 attack, and if it does, each time it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, this turn, you can add 1 spellbook spell directly from your deck to your hand, so it gives you a boost. It counts as a spellbook, and it lets you search a spellbook that you can from your deck to your hand. So it's really, really good overall. Spellbook of Eternity, target 1 of your banished spellbook spell cards, except for itself. Add that target to your hand. You can only activate 1 Spellbook of Eternity per turn. It's running 2 because we banished some stuff and want to get it back. We're running 2 Spellbook of Wisdom. It's one of the newer ones in the new box. Target 1 spellcaster monster in the field, then activate 1 of these effects. Either that face-up monster is unaffected by other spell effects this turn, or that face-up monster is unaffected by trap effects this turn. So this is basically a quick play spell. That's a spellbook that can help you protect yourself from your opponent's back row. So that is really good overall, and has spellbook in the name, which is the most important part. Then besides that, we are running the new field spell that we have 1 of from Carly Level Ups, which is the Grand Spellbook Tower. Basically, once per turn during your standby phase, if you have a spellcaster type monster in your field, which you usually will unless you're losing, or in your graveyard. Oh, never mind, you will have one. You can place 1 spellbook spell card from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck. The Grand Spellbook, except for itself, which you only have 1, so it doesn't matter. Then draw 1 card, so basically gives you a +1, but you lose 1 from your graveyard, so you have to be aware of what your spellbook management is, but that just comes down to how spellbooks play. And then basically when this card in your possession is destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 spellcaster type monster from your hand or deck, whose level is less than or equal to the number of spellbook cards in your graveyard. Generally, you're not going to have 7. So maybe you'll have 3 and then can summon your higher one, or you'll summon 2 and get Magician of Prophecy. So these will generally be the ones you'll be summoning off of that effect, but usually they'll leave it alone in some cases. Alrighty, then you have the main iconic card of Spellbooks. This card is limited to 2. You can only run 2. This keeps you from playing Treacherous, Econ, cards like that. Basically, this card, if you control a spellcaster type monster, you can banish up to 3 Spellbook cards from your graveyard and apply this effect depending on the number of spell cards banished for this card's activation. You can only activate one per turn. If you banish 1, you can bounce 1 set spell or trap card on the field to the hand. If you banish 2, you can change 1 monster in the field to either face down or face down defense position, or face up attack position. So you can make their opponent's monster face up so you can do some damage. Or you can actually flip in battle phase, if they battle you, you can flip your Spellbook Magician of Prophecy face down, get a search, and get some pretty good plays going. Then you have the really good effect, which is banish 1 card your opponent controls. This does not target, so their effects will have to be done beforehand. If they mass change will have to fully apply before you actually banish their monster. So that is a really good removal, and this is the main way Spellbooks run. They have now more removal with High Priestess, but this is their previous removal that they would use. Now they have multiple, so they have a little more stay power, but little less resistance if you run this pure version. I'm not going to really show gameplay because this would take way too long to show each of the intricacies. You can look up some Spellbook decks overall and they'll show the basic of how it runs. And the Priestess will just add a little more different play to it. And Wisdom maybe ran 1 because it has some playability, but I'm just running 2 because you're running more of the Priestess. Alrighty. Then we're going to go over some of the random cards. So other cards we have is Imperia. If this card is summoned, draw 1 card. You can only use effective Imperia once per turn. That's actually pretty good for reptile decks. Reptiles like having a lot of reptiles in the graveyard and just used. And this can give you some advantage. So that might be some pretty interesting attack. I don't see it being used too often, but you could see that in some reptile decks for just a little more consistency. I don't think it'll make the meta, but it's there. Primitive Butterfly, you could run this. Let's see. No, it's not a tuner. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can increase all levels of insect-type monsters you currently control by 1. So it can summon itself if you control no monsters. So that's pretty good. I don't see it being like anything outside of like the normal good special summon from hand. So I don't see it seeing that much play. Chain Hole. When your opponent activates a monster effect in response to a card or effect activation, negate that opponent's effect. Then you can, then your opponent can banish 1 card from their hand or deck with the same original name as that negated card. If they do not, you may banish 1 random card from their hand. I think that's too specific. I might see some play in certain metas, like there's a certain deck that responds like that very often. We might be able to see it. I don't think it's too specific because your like Invoker won't respond; it will do its own thing and then just kind of damage you. So I think in the current meta that won't be used, but might be seen a little bit in the future because it has the whole effects. You can actually use that with the trap tricks. Let's see, Trends Cicada. It's a tuner, level 3. You could run this with the Battlewasp. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon 1 Molt token, Insect level 3 Earth, attack 0, defense 0. While this token is special summoned by this effect is on the field, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for insects. So locks you in insects. So you could run this, so you could summon this, get the token. If you could summon level 2, which the other Battle Wasp were like 3 and 4. This doesn't make too much sense, but you could do some synchro plays of that. You could just do a 3 and a 3 for. You could just synchro with itself for level 6, I think. So that could see some play. Actually, that might you might be able to put this in Battle Wasp because of that, because it could just synchro with itself. Oh no, it has to be special summoned, so that makes it where it's not as reliable. But you could send this, summon this from the grave with the bigger Battlewasp, the 1800, and then you could get the token and synchro to level 6 right away, and have 2 monsters, a level 6 synchro and a level 4 1800 attack monster. I don't know about that, but let's see. Chorus of Sanctuary, increase defense of all defense position monsters by 500. Just a new field spell. Then we have Megastric Magnesian. Each time a spell card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card. When that card resolves during the end phase, you can remove 3 spell counters from this card and then target one of your banished spells. Add 1 card of that target's name from your deck to your hand. When we activate 1 per turn. You might be able to run this in Spellbooks. Yeah, you could run this in Spellbooks, I suppose. It's a fire. You might have to see some Spellbooks with Invoke too, because Spellbooks have the blue boy's water type. And Invoker's a spellcaster, so you can get off all your Spellbook effects of that. I don't know, we'll have to see how that works overall, but besides that, we have the 2 more. Cybertech Alligator, I'm just putting this here because this is my childhood. I just had to put that there. And then we have Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. I don't think this will see too much play. And the reason being is either you have to have a more dedicated fusion deck that doesn't work too well, or you can tech in 1 Dark Magician Girl into Dark Magicians, be able to summon this out. You have to use your Iotamias on this, which it has Spell Speed 2 Discard Destruction, which is actually really, really good. But I don't see it having too much. I could see this being played in a normal, traditional fusion sub synchro fusion variant, not synchro, fusion variant. Oh, but I'm so happy we're getting this card. I love fusions, and yeah, I'm happy this card's in the set. Yeah, okay, that's really good. We need to get Stratos. We need Stratos and the other one soon. Yeah, Stratos and Fiendish Chains. We haven't gotten those on a main box or mini box or anything, and they've been 2 main boxes behind. Okay, well, I think I'm running late on the video, so or long on the video, my bad. So probably going to end it here. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe and let me know what kind of decks you want to see me make in the future, or if you have any ideas for videos I can make that you think you would enjoy. I appreciate you guys. Keep fusioning. Let's go Slash.